You know, usually in the hours and days after a damaging storm, TV news crews head out to cover the consequences, like last week with the downed trees, the closed roads, the stalled cars, and the flooding. Well, there was one local organization that didn't get a lot of attention in that aftermath, probably because they don't get a lot of attention anyway. Artisans for Hope began nearly a decade ago with a goal of helping incoming refugees get a skill set so they can learn the language, get a job, find a place to live, and ultimately make their way in their new community. Refugees come to Boise from all over, and if you didn't already know, you should probably know they only get about 8 months of assistance to do all of those things, and then they're out on their own. And that's where Artisans for Hope comes in. Volunteers teach them a skill like, say, sewing, using donated materials and equipment, and then they sell what they make, getting most of the money for themselves. And most of them come to this country having been something of substance back home, like a doctor, a nurse, a mechanic, or even a teacher. They can't just walk into those jobs here. So they have to start from scratch, usually starting several steps back. And what happened last week to the nonprofit's classroom and gift shop, well, trips up this refugee transition a bit more. In the basement of this building in Boise's North End. How long have these fans been going?
These fans have been going since Wednesday morning.
These fans are trying to dry out what used to be the floor for Artisans for Hope.
Over here, it soaked the carpets.
It was the damaging storm which rolled through the city of trees last evening.
Big storm Tuesday night.
Bringing nearly 2 inches of rain in about 2 hours and flooding several sections of Boise, including along 15th Street. Watching it from home, Ellie McKinnon thought nothing of it.
Not a thing. Just thought it was actually a remarkable thing to watch.
Until she arrived at work Wednesday morning.
So the water probably came down and over.
Being below ground didn't bode well for them.
It was not a welcoming sight.
Water not only filled their stairwell, overpowering their drain, it took the door off its hinges.
Not only the hinges, it took part of the frame with it. It's a lot of force, a lot of force. But you can see how high the water was. This much water with some force behind it. This door was on the floor in the studio, and muck and mud was about everywhere.
Cleanup began almost immediately, with volunteers managing to move most of their materials into what was once their classroom and studio. Now, it's just storage. So the classes have to be put on hold.
The building is, the basement is closed, the classes are on hold, yeah.
Which is more than just an annoyance.
Oh my God.
For some of their artisans, like Maria, who is seeing the studio for the first time since last week.
All is here is water and everything is in the floor. Its door is broke. Oh, I'm so sad. I go back and now it's better.
Yeah, anything that was normally on the floor was covered. So that's sort of sewing machine pedals. And
Ellie says the plan
these would be 2 examples.
Is to be back making stuff to sell
Jacket,
soon.
a purse.
After all, they can't be Artisans for Hope.
I feel like you need help.
Oh, yeah.
Without the hope. And adding to the misfortune, Artisans for Hope did not have flood insurance. As Ellie McKinnon, the director, told us, they're not that close to the river, to the Boise River, and they live in a desert, so they didn't think they needed it or didn't ask for it. Well, neither did their landlord, but they've covered the cost of the disaster cleanup the landlord did. As for when they might be able to get back in their studio and the classroom and the gift shop, it depends a lot on the damage and the ability to pay for it. She says they still aren't quite sure the extent of it, like how many sewing machine pedals, which are on the floor. They're not sure if they work or not yet, so they're still making sure. McKinnon does say she knows for sure Artisans for Hope will very much be a part of Boise's World Refugee Day this Saturday on the Grove Plaza. Artisans will be there selling their work, and of course every little bit helps them get back in the business of helping Boise's newest refugee residents.